It's done. Technically, I'm not a girl anymore, so I don't have to apologize, but I am sorry about this. I'm sorry about this. I'm sorry about this. I'm definitely not sorry about this. She's awesome. Anyway, so yeah, I lived. I look like shit, but that's fine. I feel fine. I'm doing great. I don't have tits anymore. I'm wearing this shirt for the first time. Well, actually, I wore it for the first time yesterday, but like, I've had this for years, and now I finally get to wear it and not feel weird. Sorry. Doing great. What hasn't been so great is my reading this month and also my watching. I'm almost 2 weeks post-op now. By the way, I had top surgery. I didn't mention that. So I had top surgery 2 weeks ago. You would think in the meantime, because I haven't really been able to like lift my arms or lift things or do anything intensive. So you would think that I would have spent a lot of time reading and watching things, but no. No. I've been doing a lot of crossword puzzles and I'm really bad at them. So anyway, most of the things I have read were for school, uni. It's an ongoing thing, so I've been focusing on that. The truth is really I've been reading a lot of things at the same time, but it's not that bad. I read 4 books. 3 of them were for uni, 1 of them was for fun. The rest of them I'm still reading. I actually read like 10 books, but like I'm still halfway through most of them. The first book I finished, I didn't bring with me. As you can see, I'm not home. This is my mom's home. This is my mom's painting. She's great. Right, it's so hard to remember. It's hard to remember anything, by the way. They say it's because of anesthesia. You like keep forgetting shit, but I excessively keep forgetting shit. Right, The Woman Destroyed by Simone de Beauvoir. It was really good. I picked that book up from a free little library somewhere. I had no expectations of it whatsoever. I feel like people are familiar with like Simone de Beauvoir, but I wasn't. I didn't really know all that much about her, except she's like a big person in philosophy and feminism. So I don't know what I was expecting from that book, but the prose was so fucking beautiful. Lost my mind a little bit. There was 3 stories in there. They were all about older middle-aged women kind of losing their youth, basically, mourning over that, mourning over the loss of their like relevance and status and stuff like that. All of them make me cry for some reason. The way that it was written, because it was so very extremely unrelatable to me, but still, especially the second one. I feel like the second one is probably the least popular one because it's also the shortest one, but it's written in this extremely chaotic way. There's almost no punctuation. It's a mess, but it reads like a drunken rant of a woman who is in insane amount of pain over the loss of her daughter. That one destroyed me. The story after that was called The Woman Destroyed, but that one had me. The boy destroyed, I guess. Yeah, fine, let's go with that. I love that one. Spoiler alert, but that was definitely my favorite thing I read this month. The next thing I read was If This Is a Man by Primo Levi, which is a book about an Italian Jew surviving the Holocaust in Auschwitz. It was rough. I had to read this like leading up to my surgery, and I was really very stressed about my surgery, so I was not in the mood for a Holocaust story. But you know, when is someone ever in the mood for that? So like, fair enough. But yeah, I wasn't reading that like in the best mindset. Also, I felt like it was written a bit, and this could just be the translation because obviously it was written in Italian officially, but it was written very dull. I didn't really gel with the way it was written. Writing about something so harrowing, and I get it because it's like, you know, you have to survive that in some way, and I guess like, it wasn't really stoicism, but like I guess keeping a distance from it is a way to process going through something like that. But I didn't really feel like that. It felt boring to me. I feel like because we read that for uni, and I think we maybe could have read a different book that might have been a bit more interestingly written, but maybe it was the translation. I don't know. I mean, it is a very big piece of literature. I don't want to shit on it, so let's just stop doing that right now. Next thing I read was Life of Pi, also for uni. I have no idea why. This is like the odd girl out in the lineup of books that we had to read for school this semester. I loved the first part of this. I feel like everyone's familiar with this. It's like a boy on a lifeboat with a tiger, right? But it starts out about this boy's youth. You know, as a child in India, he was raised on a zoo and he grew up with all the animals, and so he knows a lot about animals, and he was also always very interested in religion Hinduism, Christianity, and Islam. In the beginning of the book, that's like a theme of like, you can't be all three of those things. And he's like, why not? I just want to love God. And that part was so good to me. Like, I really loved reading about all of that. But then the part on the lifeboat with the tiger, which is, you know, the actual story, that part kind of started to bore me in the same way that The Martian bored me to tears, in the sense that like it's about a guy doing things to survive and just explaining all these things he's doing to survive his perilous situation, which is really hopeless and dire and kind of depressing, to be honest. My problem with The Martian though was that it was very technical. This one wasn't as technical, and also it had the tiger involved, so that was kind of fun, but still, like, the core, the basis of survival on its own just is not that interesting to me, to be honest. So it kind of started to slack for me there, and I didn't love it as much anymore, but the first part was pretty good, actually. And then the last thing I finished was The Death of Ivan Ilyich by Tolstoy. Yeah, also for uni, obviously. I don't think I would just randomly read Tolstoy for fun. Even after this, because I heard about this, that this was like, actually, Sean McComb loved it. That's why I thought it would be fun. I didn't think it was that much fun. Well, not fun. Fun is not the right word. I mean, it is about a man dying. So it was never going to be that much fun, but like, I thought it was going to be a bit more interesting. I thought Ivan Ilyich would be a cool character that you would actually like have empathy for, but it was kind of hard to have empathy for him. I didn't like him. I was a bit underwhelmed. I think my expectations were too high. I just remember that I go over everything that I'm currently reading, which is a lot. What I'm reading currently is on my nightstand though, so hold on. Okay, it's actually not that bad. It's only 3 books. I am still reading Lot. I am not really getting through it. I think it's safe to say at this point, I don't like it. Don't really like the way it's written, and I don't like the way that every story is kind of written the same. At the end of every story, I'm just like, okay, so like none of them are really moving or earth-shattering or great to me. Obviously not every story has to be like that, but in a short story collection, I feel like some of them have to pack a punch in a way, and this one just for me is not doing that. Another thing I'm reading is Tour de Trans by a Dutch guy named Oos van der Grift. I bought this at Pride last year, where this guy was with his dog. This is them. They were both there. I didn't get to pet the dog, and I regret that. I didn't even ask. Like, I could have asked him if I could pet the dog, and I didn't. And I went back around later to ask him if I could pet the dog, and then he and the dog were gone. I suppose he was just, you know, like walking the dog, but like, I regret that. Especially now that I'm reading this, because basically this is about a guy, a trans guy, who takes his dog on vacation in a cargo bike. Well, at first they're just walking, and they're not doing it all at once. Like, he's going for like a week or a few days, and then he goes back a couple weeks later to pick up where he left off. The point is that he's walking from all the way up north of the Netherlands to, I believe, Istanbul. Yeah, he walks to Istanbul, the opposite side of Europe. So that's pretty cool. He doesn't walk all the way there. He also bicycles, bikes, cycles. Yeah, all the way there with his dog. On the way, he realized that he's trans and he starts his transition. I'm only at the part where he's just reached Italy and he's just also started transitioning, or at least got into a clinic to start transitioning, which is a mess. It makes me very angry to read about the process that goes into that. I'm taking it slow because, you know, it's a travel account and it takes place over like 9 years, so I want to savor it a little bit. But yeah, so far it's making me want to go outside and see things with a dog. And I'm actually at my mom's house right now, so I have a dog, so that's fun. It's making me feel very adventurous. It's great. And I'm also currently reading Spring by Ellie Smith, because I promised myself as soon as it was sunny for more than 2 days in a row, I would read this. And it's been great. I'm getting a tan. Like, it's spring. It's officially spring. However, I'm already like halfway through. I'm confused because it's September in most of this book. I just finished the first part, which is about a man who is mourning the loss of his friend. and now it's about a girl who works at an immigrant detention center. It's not called that, but it's definitely giving off that vibe, and it's terrible. Curious to see where that's going. I'm familiar with Ali Smith, so like I trust her. I've read How to Be Both by her, and I've read her book of short stories. I realized something about her yesterday, but now I forgot. This is my brain just, that's what my brain is like. I can't remember anything. So I was thinking about her short stories too. Free Love and Other Stories was, I think, the first short story collection I ever read, and I liked it. I don't know why I never read any more after that. I forgot. I officially forgot. Maybe I'll remember it in my next wrap up. Anyways, again, you would think I watched a lot of movies, and I didn't. I've mostly been rewatching Killing Eve, but like fully with my mum. She loves it, by the way. We just finished season 3, and I'm considering just stopping there, but knowing myself, we can't do that. I saw 3 movies in the theater before I left from my mum's house. First one was Sick of Myself, which is a Norwegian, right? A Norwegian movie about a girl who attains an illness in order to get attention from everyone. It was a comedy, and it wasn't really my humor. The attempt was there. I don't know, I think a lot of people like it because the movie's still playing. Normally when movies that are not like super popular, they only play for like 2 weeks and then they're gone off the face of the earth, but they're still playing it, so I guess it's kind of popular, but I didn't love it. Later that week I saw Return to Seoul, which is a French movie, I think, about an adopted girl from Korea who goes to Korea. She actually goes to Korea by accident. She wasn't meant to go to Korea, but she does end up in Korea, and then she's kind of encouraged to find her birth parents. I thought the first part of this movie, because it's a movie that's divided in 3 parts, the first part was fantastic, great. The second part was unexpected. I feel like that wasn't really necessary. And then the third part was like, nah, I don't know, we didn't really need that. Just didn't really need that. I feel like these days, even with Everything Everywhere All at Once, it's a hot take, but I feel like these parts that we're doing in movies these days, it's just not necessary. We don't need them. Then they make the movie so much longer and it's just not necessary. Just something to take into consideration. The last movie I saw was Joyland, which is a Pakistani movie about a man who meets a trans woman, and you know, that's what the movie's about, so I'm not going to tell you what happens, but I wanted to see that movie because it's like, there aren't that many trans movies out there anyways, and especially coming from countries where we never really get to see a lot of movies from anyway. I was really curious to see what kind of movie that was going to be like, because usually when you go see a trans movie, it's bound to be very sad. This movie was, it was sad, but not because of the trans woman. The trans woman was, I can't say she was the greatest character, because the greatest character was someone that I don't want to say anything about. You want to see this movie for yourself, maybe. But she was great. Nothing really terrible happened to her. I mean, obviously terrible things happened to her because she's trans, she's in a movie, you know, things are gonna happen. But it wasn't about like her tragedy. It was more about the guy's tragedy, but especially his wife's. And his wife was awesome. She was great. Yeah, I think that was my favorite movie this month. I mean, out of the 3, it's yeah, it was. The only other thing I've been watching is The World's Most Extraordinary Vacation Homes on Netflix. I just sometimes want to look at the kind of thing that rich people put on the earth for themselves to enjoy. Then also me by extension, because it's on Netflix. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I hope next time you see me I'm going to be blonde again, because this is just, it's not it. I also hope that I can raise my arms again, because that would be fun. Thank you for watching. Tell me what your favorite books and films of the month were, and shows. I haven't watched any shows either. I've been useless. But anyway, if you like this video, like it, I guess. I don't know what that does for me or my channel. I honestly don't really care if you like this video physically. I just want you to like it with your heart. That's the cheesiest thing I ever said. Anyway, have a good day. Read So Much Blues. Subscribe, maybe. And I'll see you next time. Bye.